In a previous video, I spoke about my Beocenter 8000, and I'm hugely passionate about that system. I love it to pieces, but I wouldn't recommend it to a friend. It's a bit fiddly, it's massive, and they're not the most reliable things in the world. Mine took quite a bit of work to get it running, and especially the amplifier, it's very difficult to find anyone willing to work on one. They're extremely complicated, and mine sat in an electronics repair shop for 2 years and nothing happened before I finally took it to someone who could fix it. So if you're looking for something a bit more robust, a bit more reliable, then maybe something like a Biocenter 9000 would be a great option. These are very modern, stylish receivers. And most people, when they see them, don't necessarily even know what it is. Get people thinking it's some kind of keyboard or something like that. They're just amazed by the sliding doors and the glass and the touch buttons that are way ahead of anything you can buy in a shop, even today, I think, in my opinion. And these can be had for very little money. I'm talking a price range of around £100 for a slightly scruffy working one, up to £400 for the top of the line 9500 series. So, you know, £100 to £400 is a small amount of money for a really stylish piece of hi-fi. You'd struggle to buy a decent Bluetooth speaker for that. Arguably, I'd say there aren't that many that are any good, personally, for my ears at least, in terms of Bluetooth speakers. This has a great CD from Philips. It has a tape player, has a nice radio receiver, and there's even a socket for plugging in an aux lead, which you can plug into a Bluetooth receiver if you want to make it work in the modern world. So if you think you might be interested in one of these, watch the video and I'll talk about some of the differences between the various models and which one might be suitable for you. So the first one I'm going to speak about is the Beocenter 9000. This was released in about 1987. It's a 4-channel 40-watt amplifier, so plenty loud enough for any party really, any application. These are the oldest, so maybe the least reliable. In my experience, I've owned a couple of these, and the CDs have a problem with the capacitor on the CD board. Sometimes repairing it works, sometimes it doesn't. However, this is an issue that wasn't carried forward into the newer players. So it depends. If it's got a reliable CD, then it could be a great player for you. One thing to bear in mind is if you want to pair it up with more modern Beolab speakers, like a Beolab 8000, something like that, these only have speaker link. Although there are options for this, it might be easier just to get a later one with power link sockets. If you're just planning on using passive speakers, obviously that won't matter at all. And you can plug in, it's just a 2-pin DIN, to any passive speaker you like from Bang & Olufsen or from any other manufacturer. These earlier 9000s also all have brushed stainless steel panels, and for many that is the Bang & Olufsen look. So what replaced the 9000 were actually 3 very similar, pretty much identical machines. The Biocenter 8000, the 8500 and the 9500. Mainly noted as being, the 8000 was the base model, if you like, and it had most of the features that the other two had, except for it had no timer and it had no microphone input. The 8500, which is the one I have, does have the microphone input, but still no timer was available to use on it. And finally, the best one, the 9500, has a timer on it. So that basically means if you want to record your radio show when you're out, then it has the ability to do that. I think the biggest reason people though opt for the 9500 these days is for the shiny metal panels. The mirror finish panels really look outstanding, and very beautiful. I do keep an eye out for a set of shiny panels for mine. I'm not too bothered on having the timer in this day and age with podcasts and being able to catch things on demand. It's not really such an issue anymore, having a timer. But basically they're all the same, and these are very reliable players. I've had mine 10 years with no issues. Oh, and an additional feature that the 9500 has over the other systems is I think it has two-way remote control, which is a useful feature for some. So that's worth taking into account as well. The last in the series of the 9000s was the Biocenter 9300. Extremely similar in appearance to the other ones. It's had the shiny metal panels on the top like the 9500, and looked virtually identical, but internally it's actually a Beosound-Hi-Fi system. So it was the AMP architecture of the 9500 with a Beosound internal architecture. So very different internally. Some say they don't sound as good, but really I'm hard pushed to tell the difference myself personally. My parents have a 9300 and they sound it sounds very good. Very similar to my 8500. Okay, so this is my Biocenter 8500, and I'll just give you a bit of a quick look at how it works. So if I wanted to load a CD, just push load CD, obviously. I mean, it's all very intuitive. If I want to play the CD, just click CD. This is just for copyright. It's my band CD, just to demonstrate. Got my favourite track on. So everything's touch panels, everything is very easy to use, very self-explanatory. The tape in there. I'll just shut this up now by pressing the off button. Okay, so the other thing, I think these are the bargain really out of the three, because really for the 9500 compared to these 8500s, you're buying a timer, which you're not going to use in 2021, and you're buying some glossy panels, again, which look nice, but really it's an extra 200 quid. So it's up to you really. And I think, as I say, the grey on these matches the grey at the bottom of Pentalabs very well indeed. These later ones compared to 9000s do have power link sockets. So if you want to run a more modern, sort of like a Beolab 8000 or a 6000, then these work much more effectively. There are solutions for using speaker link to power link, but for easy integration into modern speakers, this is ideal. If you're just wanting to use passive speakers or pentas, then the 9000 works well with the speaker link as well, so there's no issue there if you want to go down that route. One other side note is this is a Dwell Nova unit that it's sat on, so if you can't find a suitable thing to put it on, I think these work really well with these systems. They've got stainless steel, they've got the sort of like a walnut, and it just really matches really nicely, I think. And they've got fantastic CD storage inside them, so perfect. Just close that. So that's about the end of the video really. That describes most things you'd need to know about these systems. And my personal recommendation would be to go for either an 8500 or an 8000, and if you want to stretch the budget, go for a 9500. They're the best ones out the bunch, in my opinion, and probably the ones I'd go for again if I was replacing this unit. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you again soon.